Lori McCrum. I'm the Family Ministries Director at Fairhaven Church on Baldwin Street. My role consists of overseeing our children and student ministries as well as our licensed preschool for our 3, 4, and young 5-year-olds. I would define leadership probably with one simple word, influence. Which means all of us are leaders to a certain degree, right? Whether we're a positive or negative influence, we all have influence, so we're all leaders to a certain capacity. Another thing I think about when I think about leadership is authority. You have authority, but there's two or probably more, but I'm really self-aware of two different authorities, a structural authority and a relational authority. And so if you're a CEO of a company or you're a manager or a team leader, you have some structural authority. You can make a call on something when you need to, and you have that right because you are placed there and have that structural authority. But relational authority, I find and try to live into as much as I can, and it's actually more influential, I think, is having relationships, personal relationships, genuine relationships with the people that you work with, genuinely caring about them, creating a trusting environment where you can have healthy conflict and good conversation, and oftentimes can lead to the same result that you're looking for without having to pull your boss card. Some leaders that I look up to is, one, I'm blessed to work here at the church and have a great boss. My team leader is our campus pastor, and he just does a great job of constantly keeping the vision before us. He leads with humility. He's an encourager, and he's always asking how we're developing people, and that's so important as a leader, to be looking at who we can multiply. And being a multiplier, there's actually a book on this called Multipliers, being a multiplier instead of a diminisher. How can we delegate work appropriately? How can we work on developing leaders and youth like yourself to become leaders? Another leader is a guy named Michael Hyatt. You guys should totally look him up, michaelhyatt.com. It's spelled H-Y-A-T-T. He is the former CEO of Thomas Nelson publishing company, and he's an entrepreneur now. He has a podcast and blogs, and I listen to him weekly. He's got a great podcast. He's a great writer, and always has great things to say, and that's an important part of being a leader. Is always, we're never fully arrived. We continue to keep learning, and I have learned a ton from him. Everything from how to hire people, fire people, how to take care of yourself personally, because that's important. Another person that I really look up to is Bill Hybels. He's actually a preacher too at a mega church in Chicago, and he has a great book called Courageous Leadership, and just talks about being a courageous leader and what all that entails. There's actually a scripture verse that says, without vision, people perish. You have to know why you're doing something. What's the purpose? What's the cause? Another great leader that I didn't mention is Simon Sinek. It's S-I-N-E-K. You should totally look him up on YouTube too. He's got a lot of great videos where he talks about his book, Start with the Why. And on his video, I'm actually just going to draw this out. In his book and on his video, he talks about how if you were to have a target, the why should be in the center. Always start with the vision. So he writes the why in here. Then comes the how, and then comes the what. And you've maybe been guilty of this, and I have too as a leader. I often go, okay, what do I need to do? How am I going to do it? And then wait a minute, why am I doing this? A couple months later. So this has been really helpful for me. We just met with a new intern yesterday and listened to his passions, and the first thing we talked about before we went into planning anything about his coming year with us is why. Why are you passionate about this? What are our wins? Establishing those, then figuring out how we're going to do it, and then the what. You guys, you're the class of 2020, and though you might not be a leader in the workplace, you're a leader right now, so don't underestimate the power that you have right now with your influence. Take advantage of that and lead in a positive way. Lead with humility. and have a servant heart. Lead by example. You know, find a coach or a mentor. Even now, there are other adults that would be willing to walk with you, I'm sure. Those intergenerational relationships are so important, and as you grow, continue to look for those people who can continue to feed into you and help you process things and hold you accountable to some of your plans. I think lastly, if you are going to speak in front of hundreds of people, don't make the mistake someone did one time when I was at a conference in Chicago. Picture a stage and a bunch of round tables, probably 200 people in a room, and I'm sitting there looking right up at this guy, fantastic speaker, highly influential, but his shirt was half tucked out with one button unbuttoned, and our entire table was distracted by his belly button, and we still talk about his belly button other than the other great things he probably said. So yeah, just make sure before you talk in front of people, have your fly up and have your shirt either all the way untucked or tucked in all the way. You'll be good to go. Go get them.